All right, let's get a quick session in. I'm gonna call the axis that the dice land in on every toss. Coming out. Towards the point, that would be a straight sixes axis. Why? 2-5, 2-5, top and bottom. Remember, I'm using horizontal spin, so that means that my axis will be top and bottom. The same, the same top and bottom numbers that you guys that use backspin read off of. All right, towards the point. So that would be a 2V. That's a point made for. Coming out. All right, so that would be a 2V. Point is 10. 2V, top and bottom. That's all you got to look. Top and bottom of each die. 10 is the point. That would be a cross sixes. Cross sixes. Cross sixes, dice set result. All right, that would be a 2V. 2V. 2V result. That would be a 3V. Just read the top and bottom of each die. And that's your dice set. 3V. All right, what would that be? 2V. 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 Top and bottom. Be 3V. 1-6 on the left, 2-5 on the right, top and bottom. 3V. All right, 2V. Top and bottom, guys. 1-6 on the left, 3-4 on the right. 2V. All right, that's a point made 10, and that would be a straight sixes result. 5-2, 5-2 on each die axis. 5-2, 5-2. All right, coming out. What would that be? That would be a inline sixes. Oh, 4-3. Turn it over. All right, that's a front line winner. That would be inline sixes. 4-3, 4-3 axis. Come in. 2-V. 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 2 would that be? That would be a front line winner, inline sixes, 4-3-4-3 axis. Come out. What would that be? Once again, inline sixes, 4-3-4-3 axis, ace to point. What would that be? That would be a 3V. 3V. Just look at the top and bottom numbers of each die. 3V. You know the opposite sides of the dice equals 7. So very easy to make that determination as to what the number is on the bottom. If you look at the top, you should know what's on the bottom. It adds up to 7. All right, here we go. Coming out. What would that be? That would be a straight sixes. Why? 5-2-5-2, top and bottom. Ace to point. What would that be? That would be an inline sixes, 4-3-4-3 axis, top and bottom, point made 8. Coming out. All right, what would that be? That would be a front line winner with a inline sixes result. I'm using the straight sixes that I said on the come out, but for the point cycle, I am using the inline sixes, 4-3-4-3 axis. But that's just for the point cycle. All right, so what would that be? That would be a front line loser, and I would be in the 3V. I'm coming out the straight sixes for the point, for the come out, and I ended up in a 3V. What would that be? That would be a straight sixes, and that would be on axis. Started with a straight sixes, ended up with a straight sixes. Front line winner. I'm using a 5-2-5-2 axis for the come out roll. 4-3-4-3 axis for the point side. What would that be? That would be a 4, right? Straight sixes, right? 2-5-2-5 axis. So that was truly one axis. Started with a 5-2-5-2 axis, ended up with a 2-5-2-5 axis. Same thing. That was truly on axis. 4 was the point. Now I'm back in the inline sixes. What would that be? That would be the hard waist dice set. 6-1-6-1, top and bottom. Now remember, I'm using the inline sixes with a 4-3-4-3 axis. Or 3-4-3-4, however you want to call it. What would that be? That would be a 3V, right? 3V. 3V. Matter of fact, this is going to be the last hand. Just thought I'd give you guys a sneak preview of how to read your axis correctly when you're tossing the chopper. That would be a 2V. All right, 2V. Yeah, guess you can see that. That was a little wild. 2V. What's my point? What would that be? That would be a 3V. 3V. Just look at top and bottom, like you will. All you guys look at is at the top. The top numbers when you use your forward and backspin, which is incorrect, but that's okay. That's okay. You guys read off the wrong axis because you start on the sides of the dice with your axis, not the top. Unless you're using horizontal spin, which you're not. Alright, what would that be? That would be what? A either all 7 set or a Hartway's dice set. Conventional Hartway, 6161 axis. We'll do one more quick one. Alright, straight sixes, 5-2-5, 2 axes on the come out. What would that be? That would be exactly as I said on the come out. 5-2-5, 2 straight sixes axis. So that would be truly an axis. Started with a 5-2-5, 2 axis. Ended up on a 5-2-5, 2 axis. That's what I'm using for the come out. 5-2-5, 2 axis, straight sixes. Alright, what would that be? That would be a 3V. 3V, top and bottom. 3V. Base the point. Now I'm back to the inline sixes that I said. With the 3-4-3-4 axis. Or the 4-3-4-3 axis, however you want to look at it. Alright, what would that be? That would be a cross sixes. Cross sixes. 2-5 on the left, 4-3 on the right. Cross sixes. Base the point. Last hand. What would that be? That would be a 7 ounce, and that would be truly on axis. Why? Because you got a 3-4, 4-3, same axis, inline sixes. So that's truly on axis. All right, guys, just, giving you a quick, I guess you can say a quick semi-instructional video on how to read your axial outcomes correctly. Once again, my dice, when tossed, spin horizontally. In other words, when I start my toss, I start like this. So this is my axis, 5-2, 5-2, 5-2. That's my axis. My dice spin. When they land, since I start off the top and bottom axis, you have to read off the top and bottom axis. This is why I say you can truly tell if you're really on axis when you use horizontal spin. I'm not saying horizontal spin is the best toss to use. All I'm saying is it's much easier to know if you're truly on axis because you start on top and bottom numbers as your dice is spinning, and when they hit, you read off the top and bottom numbers. With forward and back spin, you guys start with the side axis, but when the dice come off the back wall, you don't read off the side. You read off the top. So really what you're doing, guys, is and it's no problem. I'm just telling you guys what is and what's not. The numbers that you read, for example, let's just say if you're using the Hartway's dice set, you got a 6, 1, 6, 1 axis. When the dice, I can tell you right now how you're not on axis. Watch this. You would say, hard 10 on axis. Yeah, it is a hard 10, but guess what? You're not on axis. Look. 6, 1, 3, 4. You're in a 2V. So what you guys are doing, and it's no big deal, you're reading off the numbers in the tossing plane. Your 5s, your 4s, your 2s, and your 3s. That has nothing to do with the axis that you start with, 6, 1, 6, 1. Anyway, that's just a little short educational video. Of course, I know it always upsets the on-axis school because they teach that as long as you see 5, 4, 3s, or 2s when you toss the Hartway's dice set that you're on axis. And I just showed you with one click of the die, with one click of the dice, well, you're not on axis. Just one click, and that dispels all that mumbo jumbo about on axis, right? Hartway's dice set, one click, and you're in a 6-1, 3/4 axis, 2V. So there you have it. But once again, you guys want to live in La La Land with the I'm on axis shit, go ahead. Makes me no difference. Because I don't use forward and backspin. So. All right, but anyway, hey, Professor K, spinning, winning, always grinning. Like and subscribe. See you right here next time at the cage. Over and